So the other day I was streaming the 1.21 update, just playing around with the trial chambers, and then I saw this. That's actually kind of cool how that works. That's going to be really useful for Redstone, definitely. Dude, that's just like... Y'all don't realize how useful this is going to be for Redstone. Now, if you don't understand what I was so excited about, that's probably because you don't do Redstone. And I'm not sure if other people have made video on this, but I thought this was really cool, so I'm going to talk about it. This video is going to be a bit long and nerdy, so I've added little waypoints in the description and in the timeline, so then you can just go from place to place if you want to see certain things. So, let's say you want to open this iron door with a button. This won't work. I just want to preface that this is linked up. The button will open the door, but the reason that this won't work is because it won't stay open. It will just close. Now, we have been able to fix this in older versions with this little circuit. I don't know what it's called, but essentially what it does is if you press this button, this torch will go into here, there's this little circuit breaker thing which will, I think, power this on, which goes around here, powering that on. I don't know. I don't know how it works exactly, but this thing will essentially keep the door open for us if we press the button. But it isn't perfect. It's really difficult to figure out and build. Most people will probably forget how to use it or work it at all, and it's also a little delayed. Typically, it's not even to the level that I put. It's usually all the way out, so it's even more delayed. And that's not ideal, because if you're like trying to run away from like an enemy team or something like that, and you want to go into your base, and you just gotta like... That could have been like 2 seconds where they could have gotten the final crits on you. It's not ideal. So this is when the new update comes into play, and that specific lantern that I showed the clip of. Now, the reason that this lantern is really cool is because if I pull it out, rather than how a normal redstone lantern works, with pressing a button, it will turn on and turn off, essentially meaning you'll need a lever to keep it on. This lantern is a little bit more complicated, where it has kind of 4 states. Now you can see this with the lever, because if you flip this switch, it'll turn on. However, if you flip it back up, it kind of powers off this little redstone thing, meaning that it's ready for the next flip to turn it off. Now, essentially what I think is going on here is when you flip the lever, if you've ever gone onto a website, there's always 2-factor authentication. It's kind of like that, where even if you power this off, that was like the layer you powered off. There are 2 layers to this lantern. But if you power off again, it'll fully power off. And it goes the same for powering it back on. It has 2 layers which you flip off. But this is also really cool because that way the button will keep it on or off. So if you press the button, it stays off because of those 2 layers. Because the way a button works is it has 2 states that it uses. On and off. But when you're powering it on this block, when you press it, it'll turn it to the next layer. But when it goes out, it'll just break the first layer. So the second layer is still there, just sitting there. That allows for this. This is my breakdown. I don't know. I think I'm nerding out a bit, but that's basically how this bulb thing works. And I think it's a really cool block because essentially we can create this little contraption, but a lot simpler, with just a comparator, few redstone, and a bulb. Now, the reason this is better is, first off, copper is really easy to find early game. It's basically easier to find than iron. I don't know why you wouldn't go with this. Most people don't know how comparator works, but it's basically an observer with a little more steps. But all you need to do is just place down a normal comparator. You don't need to touch it. It'll work. I'm not going to go into how it works because I don't even know. And the reason I didn't use an observer is because when I would try to do this, the reason that there are 2 layers, that I just said, there are 2 layers of like redstone going on here, it wouldn't work well with an observer because both layers, if you press the button, both layers would trigger the observer like this. The observer would go into here. It has this little door here. If you press this button, it would open and close twice because both layers are being triggered by the observer because the observer is observing both layers. For some reason, the comparator doesn't do that. I don't know exactly why. I'm not going to dig into it because The point is that it works. If we do this, and we go back to here, let's demonstrate the old door again. Really slow. It works, but it's slow. Not ideal. But with this new contraption that I made, almost instantaneous. Down to the millisecond. It's an extremely effective way to do this. But you can do more with this. Which leads me to my final door here, which is the pathway door. If you break this path, essentially... Oh, wrong one. This one. Essentially, this piston thing will break the path, and then it'll open or close the door, like that. And because of the new system that I implemented, it's a lot faster. It's not as instantaneous because there are 2 levels of pistons going on in the actual door. And it opens faster than it closes for some reason. Which is better if you're trying to run away, because you can just gravel this, go in, quickly run, and then go on the inside, press this button. You can go inside, press this button, and it'll just close it. Or you can just open it. But this is really cool and all, but there is a problem with this type of entrance, which is if this block state changes at all, this observer will capture it. And let's say I want to turn this back into a normal grass block. That's going to trigger the observer, and it might open or close without you wanting it to. So what we can do is we can do a different type of door, which works similarly, but not exactly. Like this. Do this. Put like a sign on it or something. Okay, and then put an observer underneath again. Any block states that change. Okay. Go into here. This will power this whole system on. If we put a sign or something there, then what we can do is if we get a water bucket, waterlog this block here, then it'll do that. Which is cool and all, but it doesn't work the same. Mainly because the water kind of just stays there. Wait, no, this actually works. What am I talking about? The water can stay in and out. Just keep a bucket. This works in survival mode better. So let's say, just get a bucket, okay? If you want to go in and out, this is your key bucket. So you can like name it differently or something. Go into survival mode. Survival. Whatever is in this bucket, it won't matter. As long as you right click this, it'll open. You can go back inside and close it. Or if you want, you can just open it and close it like that. Either way, it'll work. It's a really cool system that I just thought of. Which no block states will change as long as you don't pick it up. You can go inside, quickly close the door, and voila, you have like a really hidden automatic piston door for like mountains and stuff. I feel like I should explain how this works. So this is just, here, let me go into creative. This is just a normal in and out 4x4 piston door. It requires 12 pistons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. I don't know how to count. These 2 repeaters have a little delay, so first this repeater goes into this block, which pushes out these 2 blocks, and then that triggers this one because of the repeater. This redstone triggers these pistons that are pushed out, which pushes it forward. That's how it works. Okay. And then this will go into the previous little circuit thing that we made earlier, which literally just requires 2 blocks and a bunch of redstone, which is this same circuit here. You can put it like this, and then hook it up here. And the way the button works is I just hook this up to the same block, put the button on the other side, and then this will trigger that block there, which should either power on or off. The way I link it all the way over here is I've got a little circuit thing with a repeater going down here. Quickly goes to this one, goes through the comparator, which detects this block state, goes into there, and powers this on. So this signal is going to be pointing towards the little lamp here, because if it points the other way, then this won't really affect that, because it'll be pointing in this direction, which means this will more so affect that, which I don't know how that's going to work. So the observer goes into this redstone, which goes through the ground here. You won't be able to see it because it's under the ground. It goes through here, goes into this lantern. The comparator powers it on or off, which then goes into these 2 1-tick repeaters, which powers this normal door. So it's a relatively simple redstone thing to make. I could do a tutorial if anyone's interested on the different type of secret hidden doors, but this new block can really revolutionize redstone. And that's basically it. Yeah, so thanks for watching. I'm definitely a nerd for this.